Ladies and gentlemen, you know you're in 2025 when you have one of the top basketball players to ever play the game versus one of the top sports commentators to ever be a part of the sports world, battling out, hashing it out on Twitter, on interview, kind of sneak dissing one another. I'm going to be giving you guys my reaction to that, the whole timeline. If you guys do enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. This beef is kind of interesting because it all started when Stephen A. Smith went on First Take talking about how Bronny James wasn't prepared for the league and how he thought LeBron James should maybe let him take a couple years off. He was obviously playing super well in the G League, but once he went over to the NBA with his playing alongside his dad, it didn't translate very well. He was averaging like 25 points in the G League, but once he got to the NBA, at this point he was averaging like 1.8 points a game, 2.2 points a game, 0.8 assists, 0.6 rebounds, something crazy like that. And you know, Stephen A. Smith kind of brought up a point to LeBron James saying, hey man, as a father, you wanted him to play. You said you wanted to be in LA to play with him, and whatever team you were gonna join, you wanted him to draft. You wanted that team to draft his son. So that's why he kind of puts this blame on Stephen A. puts this blame on LeBron a little bit for putting pressure on the kid, making the headlines a lot bigger. Obviously, your headlines wouldn't be as big as if you weren't playing alongside your dad. So, I mean, it's a valid argument from Stephen A. I thought that LeBron James kind of blew this out of proportion, but we'll kind of listen to him talk a little bit. The video's 3 minutes long, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone.
So you can kind of tell that Stephen A. Smith is kind of being super genuine with this speech, right? He's kind of giving the whole spiel of, hey, Bronny's good. Bronny's been good. He's always had the talent, but when he's with the Lakers, he's not playing as well as he is with the G League. And obviously you saw there 15 minutes, 0 points, 0 for 5 from the field. The Lakers did lose that game against the Sixers. And that kind of spiraled into so many other things. The next one being that he had to respond to LeBron being mad, right? LeBron was mad. He said, well, first they popped up courtside. Where's that? Right here. He popped up courtside, Stephen A. did, during a Laker game. And LeBron James kind of, during a third quarter timeout or something like that, he pulled up to Stephen A. said, yo, why are you talking all this smack? That's my son. Like, why would you do that? And he said he came to him as a father, not so much as a basketball player. And Stephen A. kind of responded. He was like, hey, you know what? I respect that. Like, that's your son. I understand. You're supposed to defend him. That's your job as a parent. I would do the same thing if that was my son, right? So, super calm, super cordial. Everybody thought like, hey, you know what? Maybe they hashed out their beef. Whatever. And then a surprise appearance from LeBron James. He went on a Pat McAfee show. You guys know I love this show. So this is what he had to say about Stephen A. Smith.
And Stephen A.
Again, this is after their
little, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're watching it. Yep. We're all seeing. Oh yeah, you're seeing it as well.
He literally. It started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, well, viral. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you can address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another. He completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing.
And so you guys get the gist of it. LeBron James kind of criticizes the media as well as Stephen A. Smith for talking about the game, kind of criticizing players and what they don't understand what the players do or what they do for the sport. And how he thinks that the sports world, in terms of analytics and commentaries and all this other stuff like First Take, the Skip Bayless show. He thinks that those medias make the game worse. They bring light to a negative situations, the drama of the sport, which you can understand a little bit, right? I think the players are criticized, but you put yourself in that limelight. You put in the work to be in this situation, to be a top tier athlete, to be a role model to little kids. Anytime a little kid picks up the ball, he's like, I want to be, everybody's the iconic shoot a ball Kobe, right? So I think LeBron James needs to be kind of like aware of, hey, I put myself in this situation. I wanted to be the number one guy. I wanted to be the best. You play the game to be the best. That's kind of the whole reason to play the game, right? You don't play the game just to get paid. Well, some players might, but in terms of greatness, LeBron James always wanted to be Michael Jordan. He always wanted to be Kobe Bryant. He always wanted to be up top of those greats on that Mount Rushmore of the sport, which he has, to be fair. But you have to understand that these things come with criticism. They come with backlash. They come with, you're always under this microscope of people looking at everything that you do. So it's soft. I mean, it is soft. And then Stephen A. Smith said, like, yo, if LeBron James came to saw me during the game courtside and he put his hands on me, I'm punching him. I'm squaring up, right? And then LeBron James, kind of super petty, he posted a video on Instagram. This was Stephen A. back when he was like recovering from a shoulder injury, something, sports medicine, what's the word I'm looking for? Rehab. And LeBron James kind of like, man, you can't do nothing with this move, right? And then he talks about, like, I would have swung on him immediately. And then Stephen A. says, man, how petty have you become, bro?
Puts out some page
so
about me, boxing and all of this other stuff from a decade ago with 2 torn rotator cuffs. Fine, no problem. It's very, very embarrassing video. I'll be the first to say and all that stuff, even though I like it to be left up there. Because if people think I want to throw hands like that, that's how I throw hands, knock yourself out. I'm good with it. I know that the man I am today is not the man that I was a decade ago, physically or beyond. I can tell you that. So we get that out the way. Why do I bring that up? Because that's how petty you've become. You're LeBron James. You that butthurt over the things that I'm saying, that you would post that video. When has LeBron James ever done something like that? But suddenly you're doing that as it pertains to me. This man is in his feelings. I wonder why. Could it be because I don't believe you're the GOAT? Because I'll never believe you're the GOAT? Because I have you number 2 at all times? Do I have to have ESPN and First Take put up the ticker tape right now and say, yo, could you put that up there, please? Great father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great director, great producer, great host, great basketball player, great leader. I mean, my God, I have done everything but put diapers and a bib on this brother. But it ain't enough, because one thing matters to him and one thing only, and that's him being recognized as the greatest of all times. Well, you're not, in my book. That belongs to Michael Jordan.
And, like I said, Stephen A. gives him his flowers again, saying, hey, he's a great husband, he's a great father, a generous philanthropist, but it's petty, man. It's real petty. Obviously, LeBron doesn't like Stephen A. and anybody, for that matter, that doesn't think that he's the GOAT of basketball. His resume's great. He obviously has all those finals losses that really hurts him in that conversation. I don't think he's the best basketball player to ever play the game. I still think it's Michael Jordan, but, LeBron's a great player. He has always been a great player. There's just some aspects in terms of how he kind of went about his career, which kind of shady, which kind of made people dislike him. It changed the game of basketball a lot, for the better, for the worse. That's up to debate, but I'm on Stephen A's side with this one. Obviously, I don't know if you could tell, but that's kind of where my head's at. I think Stephen A kind of was super professional in the beginning. I think that him bringing up LeBron James being a better father, or should be a better father, with taking Bronny James out of saying, hey, Genie Bus, go put Bronny back in the G League just for the year or 6 months or however long he wants to, just to get the kid some development, some confidence. He was bricking a lot of shots with the Lakers, so maybe that's what Stephen A was kind of alluding to, just like, hey, man, your kid's not playing well. Be the father. Say, hey, man, you know what? Let's put him in a position to succeed instead of being right next to me. Obviously, LeBron James has made it really, really clear that he wanted to play alongside his son, no matter what the repercussions of that was, and he kind of put Bronny James under that same microscope of like, it's gonna be a lot harder for him, right? And I mean, no matter what, whether he's playing with LeBron or not LeBron, he was gonna get scrutiny, or he was gonna get put under that microscope, because they're saying like, yo, your dad's this good, why are you down here? Like, why is there so much, like, you live with the dude, how come you're not following his footsteps? It's kind of like Cristiano Ronaldo Jr.'s gonna be the same thing with him and his dad. It's gonna be the same stuff always. So it's unfortunate, but I think Stephen A kind of handled this super maturely, and then he kind of dropped the mic by saying, when you retire, bro, I'm not gonna talk about you no more. What's the point of talking about you not there no more? Like, why do we have a reason to bring up your name? Nobody's gonna be LeBron. We're still gonna compare the next GOAT, the next up and coming person. We're gonna compare them to Michael. We're not gonna compare them to you. Obviously, nobody's gonna beat your scoring record for a long time. 50 plus years, 40 plus years, whatever the case may be. It's gonna be a long time till somebody beats that. So, I mean, he kind of mic dropped here, and then there was another argument of LeBron was being super petty because he was saying that if Giannis played back in the 70s, he would have scored 200 points every game, which I don't think is true. I think LeBron is kind of minimizing how hard and tough the defense was back in the day. Obviously, the skill difference and what your bag looked like back in the day was a lot different. The game was super simplified. There was a lot of like isos, triangles. There was a lot more set plays back then than it is now. It's kind of like freestyle basketball these days. But I thought LeBron James in that Pat McAfee interview, he came out a lot of like arrogant and like, why would you talk about me? How could you talk about me? I'm so good. I'm so great. What criticisms do you have about me? His thing is like, man, I'm 40 years old. I'm playing against these young kids, and I'm still doing it. I'm still one of the best. I'm still competing and have a competitive team around me. And that's kind of one of those things where LeBron wants to have the edge on Jordan against that. Like, hey, man, I was 40 playing against these young kids, these young cats, and I was still doing it. When Michael was with the Wizards, he wasn't doing it like that. But Michael went to the Wizards to have ownership, not to play the game of basketball. He was just chilling, right? So those are my thoughts on the LeBron versus Stephen A. Debate, battle, kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.